please join me in welcoming Engineer Meshal Alzayed, the head of the Emergency Response Department at CITRA, to deliver his keynote.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you first of all for the host and the organizers of this event for allowing us to speak about the topic today, cybersecurity in Kuwait. So I'll be speaking about cybersecurity in general, then talking about some specification about Kuwait and what the future vision for Kuwait to what we see as a future vision for Kuwait in cybersecurity. If we go back 12 to 15 years ago, cybersecurity, the term cybersecurity would be rarely mentioned in Kuwait. We will speak about network security, physical security, but not as cybersecurity. So what really had changed since that time is we have changed. We have relied on our mobiles, we have relied on our computers, on anything related to IT, which created a huge amount of data flowing back and forth between organizations. So our phones today, our mobiles, produces a huge amount of data, we produce text, pictures, we produce videos. So that created what's called big data. The big data brought us to be the importance of cybersecurity for the future, how to protect this data, how to analyze this data, how to make sure this data does not be used in improper way by different actors. So this data to be important to them, to capture this data and to use it in the bad ways. So this big data, currently in Kuwait, for example, we have a lot of applications, government applications, we have banking applications, and all these applications produce these data, and we wanted to make sure to protect those data. And the other thing is, where can we store this data? A lot of places, they don't have data centers, they don't have a place to store them. So another thing AI. So AI is how to analyze the data was the AI, AI came in as the picture, how to analyze these data and how to make sure that we use the AI in a proper way and how to program it in a proper way that we don't lose this data, or we want to make sure nobody can get this data when we use the AI. AI is the same word if we're going to say machine learning. Where to store this data? We're going to store it in the cloud. And then comes cybersecurity as a cloud security. How important is cloud, and how cloud brought the cybersecurity as important, how to make sure the cloud provider does not breach your data, how to make sure the data flows from the cloud to where you're calling it in your organization, how to make it secure. So cloud also raised the importance of cybersecurity. All these trends made sure that we need to focus on cybersecurity. In addition to that, we had IoT. IoT is the Internet of Things. We use computers, we use our mobiles. These are the regular things that we use and process data. However, now we have cameras. You have your dishwasher. Some people have even their cars connected to the Internet, and they connect back and forth with these things through the Internet. That to create a risk, because we have more and more points that are connected to the Internet and connect to our network, where hackers and unlawful people can get into our network within those points. The last thing is the blockchain. The blockchain technology, it's a new technology. It's emerging technology. Will the blockchain be used in the future? Yeah, most probably yes. Blockchain does not mean cryptocurrencies. Blockchain is a technology. Cryptocurrencies are. A lot of people think that when we talk about blockchain, they think it's cryptocurrencies. No, the blockchain is a technology. Cryptocurrencies are built on the blockchain technology. So the blockchain technology, it's an emerging technology. It's very important to understand the blockchain will be coming in the future more and more, and how to protect and how to make sure blockchain is used properly is increasing the idea of cybersecurity and the importance of cybersecurity. So What are the common cyber attack techniques that are being done today? So number one is always phishing and social engineering. So everybody, actually, almost everyone have an experience in phishing. It depends on how you react to this phishing activity. One of the easiest way to do a phishing, for example, here, I'll get somebody's email that is part of CERC, and I'll send an email and saying that please print your certificate for attending for because of his email, and he will be caught in phishing. Does not mean we will do it, but it's just something that could happen. So social engineering is getting the information of the person you want to attack, and then the phishing is you're sending the email or any message to hook that person to your network. The second trend is fake wireless access point. And I'm talking about these common techniques because we are experiencing these techniques also in Kuwait. We're experiencing it's experienced globally and in Kuwait. Fake wireless access point. When you go to any place, a hotel or even a mall, you'll see like a lot of access points, and you connect to this access point and expect to go online through this access point. But this access point is a fake access point by an intruder, a hacker that wants you to connect to his access point, and then he get all the information that because he will be in the man in the middle, and all the information that you're sending through the internet and coming back will be viewed by the intruder or the hacker. So we have to watch out for fake wireless access point because don't go to a hotel. You see like the same name 3-4 times. One of them might be fake. The third common is bait and switch. So bait and switch, when you go into any website, you see the advertisement. Some of these advertisements, when you click on it, it will take you to a different website. The advertisement is legit. However, when you click on it, it will take you all the way to a risky website where a hacker will be watching and trying to get all the information and trying to intrude into your devices. The fourth is malware injection. Malware injection devices is if I have a USB, for example, this is the laptop and it's allowing me to enter a USB into it. I will have an infected USB and inject it into the Kuwait University laptop, and voila, I'm inside their network. However, I'm not gonna do it. Dr. Lai, no, I'm not saying it. No, it means that it can happen to any network. You can even just drop a USB, say right on it confidential and in anywhere, and somebody's gonna pick it up and just out of curiosity want to check what's in that. So don't try any devices, don't input any devices, and for the security admins or the network admins, make sure you disabled honestly devices in some important devices within your network. So going back to the fourth, if we spoke about the first four, it's always human error. As Dr. Ladi said, it's always commonly human error in his deduction that human errors are the main reason for organizations being attacked. The fifth one is DDoS, or distributed denial of service. So DDoS is a common attack currently where hackers will try to flood the network of a public-facing organizations, such as a bank, for example. They just want to flood their application and to take that service down because of the amount of data that's being pushed to the application. IoT attacks. This is the most common and the most riskier currently is the IoT attack. The why IoT is very important, why it's risky, because a lot of the devices, IoT, such as the cameras and your dishwasher, they have minimal computing power, they have minimal storage. So putting security features within those devices. Sometimes it's impossible to have security features. The other thing, especially in homes, IoT devices are kept with default username and passwords. So a lot of the intruders come within the IoT devices. Whenever they get into the IoT device, they are able to log into your whole network sometimes. Missing security patches, and that goes back to the administrators or sometimes the admin of the network or the admin of the. A lot of security admins do not update the patches, and a lot of patches come in for us as a users. For example, sometimes your iPhone or your Android mobile gets a new update, and we keep that update for a long time, and that will create also a risk into your device because you did not patch and you did not update your devices. So missing security patches is another common cyber attack. Last one, I'll be talking about credential reuse. So what's a credential reuse? You use the same username and password for different applications. The same, you have like 5 emails, you have a Netflix account, and you have any account in anywhere. You use the same credentials. So whenever one of those credentials get leaked in any of the applications, all your other applications might be lost because they will use the same username and password in your different. So make sure when you use credentials, try as much as possible to differentiate between applications. So some of cybersecurity statistics. More than 90% of the breaches around the world is due to human error. As we said, the first 4 that we talk about are completely based on humans. The phishing, which is the most common, is because humans are clicking on something they should not have clicked on. So we always blame the machines, but in reality, it's because of the humans who did that error and they got attacked. Cybercrime currently expected as cumulatively from past up to 2025 to cost up to $10 trillion. The cost of ransomware, the cost of sometimes big companies, they get caught and their data will be, they need to release their data and the guys ask them for a huge amount of money, so they have to pay to make sure they get the data back. So it's expected to, and that number, although it's a scary number, however, it was calculated based on the past and how the IT is growing in the future. Currently, when there is a breach, it almost takes 197 days to discover that breach in an organization. It's not that fast. It's on average. Sometimes you have even organizations that takes much more than that, such as what they say in solar wind. It took like much more than 197 days, but still on an average. So an intruder sitting in your network for 197 days, you can imagine what he could do. There's a lot of damage that could be happened within 197 days. Currently, global spending expected to exceed $2 trillion cumulatively in the next 5 years. So in the next 5 years, there's a lot of spending will be done on cybersecurity because, again, we're relying on the machines, and we are relying more and more on data flow and all of that. So the importance of cybersecurity would increase. So the expectation is more than $2 trillion in the next 5 years. Who are being attacked mostly? Organizations are involved with people on daily lives are most at risk. So an attacker will not go to an organization or a company that will not be connected to people on a daily basis. No, they will focus on those kind of organizations. Why? Because they have the more data. They have the if an attacker would go to somebody that nobody logs into it, he will be suspicious. But when he goes to 100 people connecting to a network or to a website, he can not be shown within between them. The Economic Forum considers cyber attacks among the top 5 risks to global stability. So a cyber attack currently is considered, if there is a cyber attack, and you can see if there is a global cyber attack in systems that are globally used, you can see how people are unstable, how the data will be lost. So cybersecurity in Kuwait. Currently, Kuwait is ranked as 65 on the Global Cyber Index. Our partners in the UK are number 2, so we are experiencing and getting a lot of experience from them. But we are ranked at 65. We still need a lot of more room to jump. We think that 65 is low. We need to do a lot of stuff more to go into at least the top 20. Currently in Kuwait, there are a lot of cybersecurity certifications. However, in Kuwait, not a lot of organizations are certified, such as ISO or NIST or a lot of these certificates. So only few organizations are certified in a cybersecurity certificate. We need also to increase and focus more on people getting certified in different certifications. There still has not yet an established cyber framework on nationally in Kuwait. So a lot of people are concerned where to go, what to do if a cyber attack happens, if something that they need to report. So we need to establish in Kuwait a cyber framework to make sure that who's responsible for what during a cyber attack or even in normal day life. Cyber teams. A lot of organizations in Kuwait do not have cyber teams. They do not focus on a cyber unit within their organization. And it is important to define a cyber team within an organization to make that you're up to security. There are organizations that do have cyber teams, but we need to create more and more cyber teams across the nation. Initiatives. CITRA, Kuwait University, KCST, with the British Embassy, had the initiative to have this conference. And there is a lot of organization. For example, CBK have their yearly cyber leaders. A lot of different organizations do have initiatives. So it's great that we have initiatives on a national scale, but they need to be organized. They need to be more advertised. So we need some organization to make sure they advertise, and so everybody can benefit from these initiatives. Finally, the private sector in Kuwait. The private sector is very important to be part of the raising maturity of cybersecurity in Kuwait. There are a few companies that are focused on cyber, Kuwaiti companies. However, I think we need more and more private sector and to get them more involved in raising the maturity and to define those companies that are worthwhile to be part of this raising maturity. So the private sector should play a big role in raising the maturity, not just the government sector. Okay, CITRA's responsibility. In 2017, CITRA was given the role as a regulator of national cybersecurity affairs and with the full authority to establish the National Cybersecurity Center in Kuwait. So within this role, my colleagues in CITRA, they will able to do incident response with coordination with different government sectors. They, in certain areas where they have to be involved, and they gave some advices to different organizations for incident response. So that's one of the responsibility that we were able to accomplish based on this mandate that we were giving. We did some vulnerability assessment for different organizations if we were requested to do so. We even sometimes, we had an initiative during the COVID period where any new application, we will be able to do a vulnerability assessment for this application just to make sure that it's fine to go publicly. Training and awareness, a lot of trainings that were organized by CITRA and some awareness campaigns were organized by CITRA, such as this conference and other conferences, in addition to training that were conducted within CITRA for different organizations to be involved in this training. Alerts and reporting, we were able to publish alerts for different, what we call CNI, critical national infrastructure organizations, and we were able to give them even reports on threats and incidents, and what global threats that could happen to them. Policies, we published policies such as the data privacy policy, and we published even the guidance during the COVID for working from home and working online. So we also try to publish policies to make sure that we fulfill our responsibility. So within these responsibility, we try to do as much as possible just to make sure we fulfill what we were given. The main idea that we did initial assessment on a national scale. Why we did initial assessment? We want to understand the scope and the size and effort of raising the maturity of the cybersecurity. Who needs to do what and what's need to be done? How big is it? How huge is it? Who need to be involved? So we did all of that in initial assessment. We captured the Kuwait NCSC requirements from a technical aspect, budgetary aspect, all of that to make sure in establishing the Kuwait NCSC, we know all the requirements. Different organizations were involved also in just to make sure we have the right requirements to be before we start building the NCSC. Develop a national cybersecurity framework. We tried to develop an initial national cybersecurity framework to be approved and to be distributed on a national scale. So during the initial assessment, we wanted to design an operating model, how things should be done, how things should be worked during the establishment of the NCSC or during the work of cybersecurity on a national scale. We wanted to define obstacle enablers to make sure that we don't have anything and to make sure we report these obstacles enablers for the concerned entities before we go on in building the national cyber. Define areas of weaknesses, which I just spoke about previously. What is our future vision? What should we have in Kuwait? We want to ensure a secure, resilient cyberspace to safeguard the national interest of Kuwait. To do so, we defined some functionalities that needs to be done within an organization within Kuwait. The first thing is training. Training is very important. It's very, we still have, as we said, this is capacity building. There's a global shortage in people that are experienced in cyber, and so we want to focus on training in Kuwait to make sure we have what we called special matter experts in the cyber field. Awareness is important. A lot of hacks, a lot of intrusions are made because people are not aware of what's happening, so awareness campaigns are very important to be done on a national scale. So we want training, awareness. We want to create policies. We can rely on national policies and global policies, but we might define local policies as Kuwaiti policies, and we want to define even sectorial policies to be with the coordinations with different sectors. We need incident response. An incident response team does not have to be involved in all incidents. However, in major incidents, they need to be involved and to support different teams within different organizations. So we need a highly skilled incident response team and to do even vulnerability assessments and to make sure all websites, governmental websites, government applications are up to date and they are secured. Security Operations Center or Security Operation Team to make sure it's connected to different security operations teams around around Kuwait. Finally, we need reporting. So reporting is very important. As we said, alerts, threats needs to be reported to different organizations in Kuwait. So reporting is very important. Just final thoughts. Time is essential. Yes, time is essential. The more time it takes to build all of that, the more risk that we have, the more breaches that we have. So time is essential. We need these functions to be up and running as soon as possible. Coordination. Any organization, when they say they want to work and protect Kuwait as a standalone, it's impossible. There has to be a coordination with different organizations in Kuwait. So definitely there will be coordinations between all what we call CNIs, critical national infrastructure organizations. Needs time, yes. So it does not mean when we start these functions from day one will be like raising maturity. It needs a lot of time to reach that level of maturity. It's not just cyber. So if we build something like that, it will not relate to cyber. It will also relate to economy. Or if we say we want to build a financial hub without a secure infrastructure, nobody's gonna come and stay in Kuwait and build their organization in Kuwait. Finally, educational institutions. Educational institutions are very important in building the maturity and in building the cyber future, because they are the first level of teaching students and preparing them to go into the cyber area, where in their training they might get level 2, level 3. In the cyber in the educational institutions, it's important to give them ground zero at least. So this is what we think, this is what we believe we need to have in the future. So, and thank you again for hosting this event. Thank you.